Hello and welcome to Coefficient Talks, the channel where we keep an eye on the rankings for the European spots. As the second leg of the playoff approaches, we will look into the extra 2 spots given for the next year's Champions League. These spots are given to the 2 countries with the most points earned this season. The winner of this last year were England and Spain. England had both finalists in Europa League and the winner of the Conference League, and Spain had the runners up in the Conference League, as well as a strong showing from most of the teams participating. This year, England is almost certain to get another spot again, but the second spot is highly contested. 4 countries are currently within 1 point of each other. Germany is narrowly leading the race, followed by Portugal, Spain, and Italy. Italy, Spain, and Germany still has 6 teams in the European competitions, and Portugal only has 4, but out of only 5. Let's start out by looking at Portugal. They have Sporting and Benfica in Champions League, and Braga and Porto in Europa League, and an early elimination of Santa Clara. Weirdly, they are expected to lose a lot of ground in the rankings this week, as only Benfica is playing in the playoffs. And with a defeat at home against Real Madrid, qualification is not expected. Portugal, however, is still in a very strong position going forward, with the remaining 3 teams entering next round. And Portugal has the advantage that each win will give 0.4 points to the rankings. Italy has Inter, Juventus, and Atalanta in Champions League, Bologna and Roma in Europa League, and relegation threatened Fiorentina in Conference League. Only elimination is the champions Napoli. Italy has a lot at stake this week. All 3 teams in Champions League lost by at least 2 goals, despite their status as seeded in all 3 games. Especially surprising is Serie A leaders Inter losing 3-1 to Norwegian runners-up Bodø Glimt. At least one of these teams needs to overcome their deficit for Italy to realistically compete for that extra Champions League spot this season. As there were 7 teams from Italy, any win will give 0.29 points. Spain has Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid in Champions League, Betis and Celta Vigo in Europa League, and Rayo Vallecano in Conference League, with Bilbao and Villarreal eliminated after the Champions League stage. Real, Atleti, and Celta, with good results in the first leg, means that they are favorites to have 6 teams through to next round. Each win for Spain gives 0.25 points. Germany has Bayern Munich, Leverkusen, and Dortmund in Champions League, Freiburg and Stuttgart in Europa League, and Mainz in Conference League. Frankfurt was eliminated from Champions League. Leverkusen and Dortmund and Stuttgart all expected to go through, which would equal Germany and Spain with the number of teams on to the next stage. Each win for a German team gives 0.29 points. Germany and Spain I would consider to be the main contenders for that last Champions League spot for next year, as Italy has too many teams on the brink of elimination, and Portugal are expected to get a points deficit after the return legs and the expected bonus points for this week. However, both Italy and Portugal have the ability to strengthen their positions with the vital wins to either Juventus, Inter, Atalanta, or Benfica. The fight for top 10 and a direct Champions League stage spot is, as I mentioned in previous videos, between Turkey, Czech Republic, Greece, and with a potentially historic season, also Poland. Turkey, in 9th position, isn't having the strongest season, and a surprisingly heavy defeat for Fenerbahce at home to Nottingham Forest means that Turkey can realistically at most expect 2 teams to progress, giving them a total of 2 bonus points divided by the 5 teams, so 0.4 points on top of however many points they get from their games. Czechia has Sparta Prague through in the conference and two very tight games for Viktoria Pilsen and Sigma Olomouc. They need at least one of these to go through with Sparta to the next round to keep top 10 a realistic target. However, behind them, Greece had a very disappointing first leg. They had three home games, and that amounted to only one draw and two losses. Panathinaikos had a draw with their direct rivals, uh, and Olympiakos and PAOK both lost their home matches. Greece would also need at least one of those three teams to go through to still keep the pressure on the Czech Republic for the 10th spot. Further back, we have Poland that already has Rakov through, and with the away win, we also expect Lech Poznan to go through. Jagiellonia lost 3-0 at home and are, under most circumstances, out. But this still leaves Poland with almost certainly two teams still in play, and with potentially both Czech Republic and Greece down to only one team. This could mean that Poland still can reach that top 10 position that was very, very unlikely before this season started. I won't spend too much time on the top 15. There is one game that is going to be very interesting for this matchup, and that is whether or not Lausanne can progress for Switzerland. If they can, there is still a fight to be had. If they are eliminated by Sigma Olomouc, top 15 will be closed as neither Switzerland, Austria, nor Scotland can reach Cyprus.